Greetings, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Not Funny Guys Presents News Radio Rewatch. We are on episode 17, and if you see the bright lights, because there's a very bright window behind me that I'm crowding out behind my invisible screen. But we are moving right along in season 3, and we are moving on to Arcade and Halloween. So, let's get into it. So we start with Arcade, written by Brian Kelly and directed by Tom Sharones. I think he's directing quite a few episodes in this season so far. This one aired on the 23rd of October in 1996. And before we get into this is one of those ones I had forgotten about, but this is another one of my really favorites. Like the moment I started rewatching it, I was like, oh yes. So Beth replaces the lobby sandwich machine with an arcade game, Stargate Defender, which Dave has a past with, and it causes some old problems for him. Bill is upset because he finds the sandwiches in the old machine to be delicious, and begins hoarding them. And after a series of mental lapses, Lisa convinces Dave, after he makes a joke, to retake the SATs to see if they're getting dumber. We get a guest star from Eugene Jarvis, Wesley Jonathan, and Lily Sabowski. You might remember Lily Sabowski? She's like Helen Hunt lookalike. It's one of our early roles. They guest star as students. So, let's break this down. So we open with a conference table, as usual, Dave announcing Budget Cutter of the Month award. And only Matthew's really kind of into it, but Beth is the winner. And she's super psyched. And what did she win? And she said, well, you get to call the people to get rid of the sandwich vending machine in the hallway, which was her choice to get rid of the budget. Only person who apparently eats in the machine is Bill. And he says the sandwiches need to be properly aged as acquired taste, according to him. It's disgusting. He makes this audible crunch noise. Wins the rights to call the vending machine place, as I said, to remove it. Bill walks by, like I said, crunching audibly in the sandwich, and Dave gives him this really disgusting look. Matthew comes to join Lisa at the conference table as she's reading through stuff. He wants to do the jumble. He's very weird. She's impressed by his skills when he does the jumble. Beth even joins in and starts really knocking them out of the park. And Lisa's now upset because these people are doing better than her intelligently. Beth sounds crazy when she says, the letters speak to me. But Lisa doesn't care. Lisa's now obsessed with another jumble, and Beth and Matthew again kill it, and Lisa continues to be quite upset. And so she goes to Dave with this problem. She thinks she's getting, in her words, stupider. And she even mentions about after 30 how the brain starts to deteriorate. Lisa's very upset, and Dave is not taking this seriously. She is super hyper fixated and spiraling. She thinks that, like I said, she's getting stupider and that she's dumber than she was when she was in high school. It's dumber, Lisa. The correct word is dumber. Dave jokingly says that she should retake the SATs just to be sure. She laughs. Apparently she got an 800, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Beth comes in with a form for Dave to sign, get rid of the place the vending machine. Dave makes a flowers for Algernon reference to Lisa. And if you're not familiar with the story, I think I read it back in when I was in middle school. Story of a super intelligent mouse who eventually reverts to his original intelligence over time. She misses the reference and she's very upset about that too. And of course, Bill comes in holding sandwiches he's rescued. One of the handlers moving the vending machine finds this super age-old sandwich from behind the machine, and Bill requests that he have it. So they have replaced it with Stargate Defender, and the idea is that this will let them bring in money. And apparently it has a dark connection to Dave's past. He was obsessed with it. He was a real virgin loser. He knows all about it. Beth walks away and Dave tries to do the same, and immediately he's greeted by an old friend. Lisa comes by talking about a puzzle on the back of a cereal box. Dave gets it, Catherine gets it, Joe gets it, Matthew gets it, and Lisa's still mad. So our storyline A is going to be Lisa, this sense that she's getting stupider, and storyline B is Dave and the arcade machine, plus a storyline C of Bill and his disgusting sandwiches. So Bill's eating the sandwich machine sandwiches in Dave's office. It reminds Bill of the sandwiches his mom used to make. Apparently she used to make a month's worth at a time and leave them in a box on the porch. He finds this to be a charming memory. That sounds like child abuse. Explains it though. He feels he has to ration these last ones. Mr. James finally shows up. It's kind of late for him in an episode. Refuses the sandwich from Bill. Takes the extension cord because he now wants to go play the game, and Dave took it so that nobody could play the game, including him. Of course, Dave is trying to escape his addiction, and Mr. James kind of sniffs it out. Apparently, he spent half of high school, 2 whole years, playing the game every day. Still knows his top score and the day he got it. gives Mr. James tips on how to play. Save the humanoids. Think of them like your family. Beth then brings Dave a bunch of quarters like she's feeding an addict. And his own cravings for the machine. Lisa comes in happy. She signed both of them up to take the SATs again. She took his joke seriously. Dave gets asked about his SATs, and he said there were outside factors for him the day he took it. That's why he didn't get to Stanford. He was playing Stargate Defender. So storyline A and storyline B are kind of like into each other. I love this. Lisa says they can take the SATs together. She's confident that she could still beat Dave's score. Dave agrees, and apparently they're going to take the test at 9 a.m. Catherine and Bill see Mr. James at the elevator. He's gotten really into the game himself. Dave comes by at the end, and he's distraught. Mr. James is distraught over losing the humanoids that Dave told him to think of as like family members, and he's going to call his mom. Dave gets roped back into playing the machine. He's off the wagon. He spends all night playing the game. Flash forward to the morning light of day, and Dave has wasted the night. Rushes to leave, and then runs into Matthew coming off the elevator. He's like, "No, I'm just getting here," and goes to his office. He has to go take the SATs at 9 a.m. though. And he, like I said, Lisa finds him with his head down on the desk. At the high school to take the SATs, they're on a break. Lisa goes to have a smoke because that's what she did in high school. Students think that Lisa is Dave's mom, which is funny and weird. They think it's weird that she's also taking the SATs with him. Lisa is talking to a girl, this is Lee Sabowski, who she really drags down with her cynical take on life, and then even lets her have a cigarette. Good influence, Lisa. Back at the office, Dave comes back. Bill looks like hell. His body, he claims, is breaking down from not having run out of the sandwiches. He takes off his hat, and the hair is gray, and Dave sees through it. He dyed his hair in a desperate play to get Dave to bring the machine back. Lisa calls the high school to get their scores. Dave dropped 100 points, but Lisa got the exact same score. And then she is literally thinking that Dave is now deteriorating, and she's like scolding like his mother. Dave owns up to the video game addiction of the night before. Lisa scolds him, like I said, acting like his mother. Dave gives into the addiction and then leaves. Joe is seen bringing Bill new sandwiches as Dave goes past. Bill digs in. Catherine asks how he got those. From another building, another floor? No. He makes the sandwiches, puts them in tinfoil in the dryer, and then he tapes them to the top of his car on the way into work. Beth, like I said, when Dave gets there, Beth has had the arcade machine removed. Dave is upset, and Beth then says, "Look, but what we have here." She has replaced it with a fortune teller machine. Dave walks up to it, and as we begin the closing credits, he asks the classic throwback to the Tom Hanks Big movie, "I wish I was big." Credit scene then finds Dave at the arcade playing Stargate Defender. Well, the guys from the SAT thing show up, ask him if his mom is picking him up, thinking Lisa, and he says no. But all right, I had forgotten about this episode, but I am so glad I rewatched it now because this is one of my favorites, right up there with The Cane. This is just one of my all-time favorites. And it's the addiction. It's like the whole thing, the SAT score thing, the whole storyline itself is just wonderful. And Bill going out of his way to gray his own hair, apparently his entire body, in fact, Dave confronts him about it. It's just absolutely beautiful. But let's move on. So now we have arrived at Halloween. This one was written by Sam Johnson and Chris Murcell, directed also by Tom Sharones, and this one aired on, obviously, the 30th of October, 1996, where the staff discover, thanks to this little summary here, that they are not invited to Mr. James' annual Halloween party because he thinks they're, quote, too cool for school, or at least they act that way. Dave and Lisa persuade him to let them come. Bill becomes depressed after a psychic tells him his exact date of his death, but then falls in love with an elderly woman. Yeah. Mad hijinks. So we open with the conference table again. Sheets, they're talking about timesheets. And as Dave is trying to get through this mundane thing, people are walking by, a snake handler, eventually a mime. All these people are going in there to talk to Mr. James in Dave's office. And it's very distracting, but they're there auditioning to come and work at the Halloween party that night. Mr. James comes out, tells them all he's gathering entertainment. Dave asks about this party. He missed it last year. It's apparently a really big deal. Apparently Matthew won for his dressing up as a motorcycle biker, which Joe refers to as you mean a gay biker. Matthew does not like this. Something is tickling Matthew under the table at one point, and it's the snake got loose, and everybody freaks out and pulls away. Everyone is excited about this party. Mr. James then comes out again and tells them where it is, but it turns out they didn't get invites because he didn't invite them. And everyone thinks it's a joke. It's not. Only Matthew, the whole group, took it seriously, and so he's invited. Dave then tries to get back in the meeting, but everyone's now depressed. Dave then goes to talk to Mr. James on their behalf, and Lisa joins him. Mr. James explains the reason for the staff. They, like I said, too cool for school, too cool to wear costumes or dance. It pissed him off, and he's punishing them. I think it's pretty fair. Lisa doesn't wear costumes, talks about making her head look chunky. She's very picky and neurotic. A psychic shows up that Mr. James is hot, and they tell her to go upstairs, and Beth stops her and wants a reading. Joe thinks this is all a scam. Catherine says, but what about those alien autopsy tapes? Isn't that a scam? And he's like, no, that's an alien autopsy blooper. Bill reveals, obviously, that he believes in psychics, and the psychic gives Beth a table reading about she'll become rich, and apparently she got pre-approved for a new credit card. She then does Matthew and tells him his cats have silly names, which they do, but he doesn't believe her. Bill is like, let me do this. And she gives Bill a reading of and predicts his death as March 8th, 2032 at 4:20 p.m. In 36 years, he's going to die. Terrible news, right? Also, not that terrible when you consider he was going to be in his 80s at the time. We'll find that out later. So storyline A is going to be the Halloween party problem, and storyline B is Bill's existential crisis about the oncoming death in 36 years. They all start arguing in the break room about why they don't want to go back to the party. Lisa's kind of selling the idea that they need to do this and they got to participate. They have to buy in. Beth, being their coolest person, she refuses to dress up. Everyone else doesn't want to dress up. But then Lisa basically volunteers Dave, who is the biggest tightwad of the office, says he will wear something cool, surprising, and inspiring, and she now manages to inspire them to go out, and this gets them to go back to the party. She's manipulating Dave, obviously, she's manipulating the whole crew using Dave. Dave and Bill talk for a moment about his terminal forthcoming death. He's down. He'll die sometime just after his 82nd birthday. Crew are talking to Mr. James at the elevator, and they're going to get costumes, and they're all going to go to the party now. Dave tells Mr. James that it was Lisa's idea, but now he's been put up to it by Lisa. He wants credit, but Mr. James is like, no, Lisa gets the credit. But now he's got to come up with this fantastic costume, and he'll surprise him. That evening at the party, Joe is a doctor, Lisa's a devil, Beth is a ballerina, Catherine's the Queen of England, and Matthew is a construction worker, which Mr. James calls a gay construction worker. Where is Dave, though? They call for him, and he turns around, and like one of his old Kids in the Hall sketches, he's dressed as a woman in one of Lisa's dresses. And guess what? He looks better in it. In fact, he literally throws everybody for a complete loop. Catherine loves it. Mr. James is impressed with his legs. Bill is also dressed up. He is in a colonial general's outfit, and apparently he's come to accept death. He met an old woman named Dorothy, who helped him accept all this. Lisa's jealous about how Dave looks in her dress. And he keeps getting hit on quite a bit, too. Bill and Dorothy are dancing. Catherine and Beth take Bill aside. They're concerned about Dorothy's age and Bill's. He doesn't care. This is helping him. Lisa and Dave continue to fight over Dave's costume and down in his office. Lisa finally opens up about her jealousy. Bill goes to speak to the psychic, and to thank her, she gives him another reading, and basically extends his life up to not 2032, but 2232. So he's going to live to be 282, which is really stupid and unbelievable, but he believes it. And it changes his whole demeanor. He goes and he dumps Dorothy. His ego's in overdrive. Dave is continuing to be hit on at the party. Mr. James chides him and Lisa when they kiss, says this isn't an episode of the Ellen DeGeneres Show, which if you're not familiar with your 90s history, Ellen DeGeneres had her own TV show, a sitcom, and she came out as gay on it. And so that was kind of a big thing at the time. You can check, I think there's a People magazine cover. I'll try to find it. Mr. James gets Dave and Lisa to do the hokey pokey in front of everyone as a final test, and he sits with the crew and with their costumes on, thinking this is what it's like at the cool table. When they give out awards, Dave is actually the runner-up. The winner is Dorothy. and Dorothy takes off her costume, and it is a really young, hot woman underneath. And Bill is now in shock and quite upset that he dumped her. Perfect poetic irony for him. But that brings us to the end of this episode. So next time we'll be looking at Award Show and Daydream. Until then, please like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff. Help us with the engagement. If you want to hype us, all that fun stuff. I know they got new stuff going on YouTube. Please help us out. We'd love to. If you want to message us, we have our socials below. You can reach out to us, but you can always write us at notfunnyguys.offthereels@gmail.com. I don't read them, but we make Casey, one of my other Not Funny Guys, do it. So you can be mean and he'll read it for me. So I'll have to cry quietly in the corner. No, I'm not doing that. I have too much fun. And as long as I'm having fun doing this, I will keep doing it. So, but you can write us, tell us things, tell us ideas, things you like, things you don't like. We're open to constructive criticism, but try to keep it constructive. Like, don't just be another internet person, as I like to say. But in the meantime, if you want to partake of some of more of our not funny things, we have our main podcast, Not Funny Guys Presents Off the Reel, where myself, Dr. John, along with my other Not Funny Guys, Casey and Eric, we talk about movies. And over there, we do the TV here, movies over there. And we're currently working our way. I think we're on the back half finally, or at least we're approaching the back half of the Mission Impossible series with Rogue Nation. We've gotten through 1, 2, 3, and Ghost Protocol. So we're doing that over there. We'll see what we do next, but we're doing the Mission Impossibles, which is funny because we had a little, serendipitous moment last episode about this being 1996 when season 3 of NewsRadio is coming out, is also when the first Mission Impossible movie, and there was a little bit of a crossover. So go back and check that out. But if that's not your cup of tea and you want something else, we also have my colleagues Casey and Eric do their podcast, Not Funny Guys Presents Wrestling with the Horror of It All, where they talk about wrestling, mainly WWE. I think Casey may or may not be going to see SmackDown in live in action this week. Who knows? We'll find out. But they also talk about horror movies, so they've got some stuff over there. We're planning on doing a crossover. They're doing Sinners, and I'm going to cross over and join them on an episode sometime soon. But if that's not your cup of tea, we also have myself, Dr. John, and our Not Funny gal, Dr. Kristen, over on our podcast, Not Funny Guys Presents Thinking About Thinking, where we get into more of a discussion-based conversation around things like AI, culture, writing, academics, teaching, things that we are thinking about. And we have some interesting and fun conversation. So if you want something a little bit more serious, but also a little lighthearted, come check that out. However, in the meantime, just remember, like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. We greatly appreciate it. We love you for doing those things for us, even if you comment and say something terrible about me. But whatever you do going forward for today and until I see you next time, remember to always keep it not funny.